Alright guys, today's topic is going to be over adding and subtracting decimals. Now I'm going to start with some baby stuff, things that you know how to do, that you comprehend why we do it that way. That way, as we go through the video, it'll be much easier for you to do. Alright, let's go ahead and do an easy example. Let's start with baby stuff. If I was to ask you to subtract 93 minus 9, you would know that the correct way to do it is like so. 93 minus 9. On this side, you separate your ones place. On the left of that, you separate your tens place. But you know to do that. Okay, what can I put here? I can put a 0. Okay, because the 9 ones has 0 tens. I'm not changing the value by putting the 0 in front. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract. I'm going to borrow. 13 minus 9 is 4. 8 minus 0 is 8. So that would be the correct way to do it. Alright, now let's discuss on how to do it the wrong way. I'm going to work on this side. 93 minus 9. If I was to do it this way, it's actually not 93 minus 9. What it says here is 93 minus 90. Because again, if you go by order of, place value, this right here indicates the ones place. And over here is my tens place. Now, do you think some students are going to do that? Yes. 3 minus 0 is 3. 9 minus 9 is 0. Some students will do that, guys. Believe it or not. That is why place value is so important. Look at the big difference between my answers. The correct answer is 84. The wrong answer is 3. But do you think that some students are going to be working it wrong? Yes. We want to prevent that from happening. So let's let's pay very close attention to our decimals. Let's get started with that. When dealing with decimals, it is just the same as dealing with whole numbers. All right, in this case, I'm going to give you the example of 34 and 1/10 plus 5 and 2/100. All right, in this case, I'm going to work up and down, but I need to make sure that my decimals are lined up. 34 and 1/10 plus 5 and 2/100. All right, notice guys that I lined up my place value. Okay, the ones, the tens, the tenths, and the hundredths. All right, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a 0 as a placeholder. It is not going to change the value. It's only going to change the way it looks. All right, let's go ahead and add 2, 1, decimal, decimal, decimal. Line up the dot, give it all you got. 4 plus 5 is 9, and 3 plus 0 is 3. So my answer is 39 and 12/100. Now here, guys, it's a quick picture, that way you can see it visually, of what not to do and what to do. In this case, on the left hand side, I have a picture where you're adding 1 and 2/10 plus 15 and 3/10. What is wrong here? Well, first of all, we're not lining up the decimal. Okay, that's a big problem. All right, and then second of all, my place value is not where it needs to be. The 2/10 belongs with the 3/10, and the 1 whole belongs with the 5 wholes. Okay, so this is wrong. Do not do that. All right, if you look on the right hand side, is everything lined up? Let's check. Our decimals look good. Line up the dot, give it all you got. And also, if you take a look, my place value is where it needs to be. I have my tenths right here, all my ones, and my tens. All right, so that is the correct way to do it. If you don't do it correctly, you're going to get a bad answer. Let's try the wrong one. Let's try the one on the left side. Let's see what we get if we add. I have 3, 7, and 2. Is that going to work? I don't even know where to put the decimal. Does the decimal go here? Or does the decimal go here? I don't know. That is not the right way to do it. Make sure you line up the dot and give it all you got. Here's another quick visual. Okay, when adding the following numbers, 2 and 4/10 plus 3 and 25/100 plus 5 and 65 hundredths. When you're adding those numbers, you need to make sure that you line up the dot like they did right here and give it all you got. Make sure that you have everything in the correct place value. What can I put here on the first number that you see, 2 and 4/10? What can I put in the hundreds? Well, how many hundredths does it have? It has zeros. So I can put a 0 there. It does not change the value. It only changes the way it looks. Now, let's say that you like to use the place value chart, but you don't have a place value chart. Well, you can use your paper and flip it over to make the lines look vertical. Here's an example, okay? Notice that your paper, you can flip it over and it'll separate the place value for you automatically. Again, pay close attention to the decimal. What can I put on in the hundredths place? I can put a 0 just to make it visually easier for me when I'm adding or subtracting. So this is just an example of something that you could do while working on your own. Now, just to be clear, just to make sure that you understand why we can add placeholders, let's talk about money. I know I've already discussed this in another video, but let's say that I have $5. Well, how much change do I have? I don't have any change. I have 0 change. What if I wrote it this way? $5. Well, how much change do I have on this one? I don't have any change. It's the same as the top one. These two are the same. Okay? What if I want to trick you and I write $5 and then I put all these zeros? Well, let's talk. Here I have $5 whole and 0 cents. $5 and 0 cents. This one looks really long. Okay? I might add even more zeros. Okay, it looks really long. It looks like a big number. It looks like a huge amount of money. But is it really? No. I have $5 whole and 0 change. As you notice, guys, if I'm adding zeros at the end of a decimal, it does not change the value. All it does is change the way it looks. I still have $5 here, here, and here. Okay, they're all $5. They do look a little bit different from each other, but they're the same amount. So that is why putting zeros as place values is not going to affect your answer. It'll still be the same. Now let's go ahead and get started, and let's subtract a decimal minus a decimal. Let's do 43 and 8/10 minus 24 and 999 thousandths. Now, if you take a close look at this, guys, you're going to notice that this number looks bigger than this one to the left. Okay, just because it looks bigger doesn't mean that it is. Remember the example I just gave you about the $5 with all those zeros? It may look bigger, but it doesn't mean that it is. All right, so look at your whole number here. I have 43 wholes. Over here I have 24 wholes. Therefore, I should do this: 43 wholes and 8/10 minus 24 wholes and 999 thousandths. All right? Now, to make math easier for me and so I can visualize it better, I'm going to add zeros as placeholders. Am I changing the value? No, I'm not. Now it's just visually easier for me to subtract. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to borrow. 10 minus 9 is 1, 0. 7 minus 9, I cannot do it. 17 minus 9 is 8. Decimal, decimal, decimal. All right, 2 minus 4, can't do it. I have to borrow. 12 minus 4 is 8. 3 minus 2 is 1. So my final answer is 18 and 801 thousandths. Again, guys, please make sure that you're noticing how my decimals are lined up. You have to line up the decimals and your place value has to be correct. Otherwise, you're going to get the wrong answer. Let's try another one. This time we're going to add. Let's add 34 and let's do 4 hundredths plus 31 and 7/10. Remember, the tenths have to stick with the tenths, the hundredths with the hundredths. All right, so what can I do here just to make it easier? I can add a 0. Let's go ahead and add. This is super easy. Line up the dot, give it all you got. So my answer is 65 and 7/400. If it helps at all, guys, I went ahead and added a little picture of a snowman, okay? Because hopefully that'll help you remember, just like the snowman, you gotta line up the dots, okay? So maybe that'll help you a bit. This time, let's go ahead and give it a shot with a practice. Let's do a whole number minus a decimal. Let's do 3 minus 1 and 79/100. Now, guys, think of money. That'll make it really easy for you to understand. $3 minus $1.79. Again, if you look at the numbers, just the numbers, this one looks bigger than this one. All right, but pay attention to the whole numbers. This is 3 wholes and 1 wholes. So let's go ahead and do 3 wholes minus 1 whole and 79/100. Now I'm going to add my zeros as my placeholders. But what happens if I don't put the decimal there? What does this turn into? It turns into 300. Did I have $300 to start with? No, I had 3 wholes. So the decimal makes a big difference, guys. Now that I have it lined up, I can go ahead and start. I went ahead and lined up my decimals. I put in the correct place value, and I added my zeros as place values. Now let's subtract. Okay, that becomes a 2, 9, and 10. 10 minus 9 is 1. 9 minus 7 is 2. Decimal, decimal, decimal. Line up the dot, give it all you got. 2 minus 1 is 1. So my final answer is 1 and 21/100. Super easy. Let's try one more. Let's try 18. Let's do plus this time. 18 plus 13 and let's do 46 thousandths. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add up and down. 18 plus 13 and 46/100. Now remember, guys, this is 18 wholes. Okay, now I can add the zeros. That's perfectly fine. But if I don't put my decimal there, it becomes 18,000. I do not have 18,000. I have 18 wholes. So make sure you line up the dot. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and line up the dots now, just like the snowman. And let's go ahead and add. This is super easy. All right, my answer is 31 and 46 thousandths. Super, super easy, guys. I'm telling you, if you know your basics, if you know how to add, subtract, you got this, okay? All you have to keep in mind is to line up the dot, give it all you got, and add zeros as placeholders whenever necessary. Now that we have gotten this far, let's go ahead and do a word problem and see if you can figure it out. Seth and Kenneth had to solve the following problem. 7 and 82/100 plus 4 and 6/10. Seth's answer was 8 and 28/100. Kenneth's answer was 12 and 42/100. Who's correct? And what mistake was made? So I'm going to go ahead and pause this video for just a moment while you work it out. And then when you're done, go ahead and play it and find out if you were right or wrong. Let's see. This is what happened. One student, Seth, did the work like this. 7 and 82/100 plus 4 and 6/10. Now Seth is awesome. He can add. Okay. Good for Seth. You can add, Seth. But what was the problem? You did not line up the decimal. Your place value is not where it's supposed to be. This is 7 wholes and this is 4 wholes. That needs to be moved. And everything else needs to be moved as well. Kenneth paid a little bit more attention and he actually lined up the dot and gave it all he got. Okay? So he lined it up. What did he put here? He put a 0 as a placeholder. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and bring down the decimal. That's 2, 4, and 12. And that is why Kenneth is correct and Seth is wrong. Again, guys, if you know how to add, you're awesome. Good for you. But you need to make sure to follow the instructions. Line up the dot, give it all you got, and make sure that your numbers are in the correct place value. Let's try one more word problem. For Vanessa's birthday, she invited 2 friends over to watch movies. They ordered a pizza and ate 3,300ths of it. After the movie, the friends ate another 2,500ths of the pizza. Here's the question. How much will be left for Vanessa's family to have for lunch the next day? All right, I'm going to go ahead and pause it while you give this some thought, and then we're going to go ahead and work it out together. Okay, so the question, how much will be left for Vanessa's family to have for lunch the next day? Well, first I need to find out how much they ate. I know that during the movie, they ate 3,300ths of the pizza. After the movie, they ate another 2,500ths. Now notice, guys, I'm lining up my dot. Okay, that is going to be 8, 5, and 0. All right, now, if this was on a test, I can assure you that this answer would be a multiple choice, but that is not the correct answer. This answer only tells me how much they ate. The question is not asking how much they ate. The question is asking how much is left of the pizza. Well, they ordered 1 pizza, so I'm going to do 1 whole minus 0 wholes and 5,800ths. Now, I'm going to add my zeros as my placeholder, but did they buy 100 pizzas? No, they only bought 1 whole. So make sure you put the decimal where it belongs. Okay, now let's go ahead and subtract. This is going to be 10. 10 minus 8 is 2. 9 minus 5 is 4. Decimal, decimal, decimal. And 0 minus 0 is 0. All right, so this is the correct answer. That lets me know how much was left. All right, guys, so this is pretty much it. Super duper easy. Please make sure you email me if you have any questions, and always subscribe, guys. Make sure that you subscribe to the videos. That way, whenever I add more throughout the school year, you'll have access to them. Have a great day.